It's Saturday night. I got no date. A 2-litered bottle of Dr. Pepper and my All Rush mixtape. Okay, I don't have an All Rush mixtape, but you get the gist. I'm Andrew Rhodes, and welcome to the absolutely, completely random podcast for Saturday, December 30th, 2017. The final podcast of 2017. Ha ha ha, yes! Okay, I kind of like 2017, but I kind of see where it went wrong for a lot of people. Anyway, what am I going to be talking about this week? Well, that's an interesting topic in itself. But for now, let's see it this way. Shaman King has an announcement teased for New Year's Day. Or at least for New Year's. Let's say if it's New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. And I'll explain what little information I have on it. Osaka arcades were raided for rigging crane games. Finally, somebody's going after those miserable bastards. Detective Conan, or Case Closed for those of you here in the US, the Darkest Nightmare film gets a 4D screening. Ooh, that sounds interesting. And a few other things, which I will explain. However, before I do, you know the drill. If you're interested in collectibles, oddities, weird stuff, something you just want to put on a counter and just have as a conversation starter as to where did you get that? Check out my eBay page, ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. I have a lot of oddities, trading cards, weird things, collectibles, other weird things, stuff that you could use to pretty much start your own little collection of weirdness. And I have it. So feel free to check it out. That's ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. You can also follow me on Twitter at OtakuRhodes. So, how did my week go? Well, first off, how did my Christmas go? Christmas actually went pretty well. For the most part. I watched Jobs, the Ashton Kutcher movie where he portrays Steve Jobs, the genius computer creator from Apple, who founded Apple and all that stuff with Steve Wozniak way back in the 80s. Yeah, let's take a blast from the past here, folks. But anyway, I watched that. Spent some time with my family, then we all sat down, we watched Deck the Halls, the movie with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito, basically trying to, well, Danny DeVito wanted his house to be seen from space. He plays the new neighbor, just moved in, starts feeling inadequate, and yeah, it's a good movie, definitely suited for the holidays, but I think the most fun part had to be my mom and grandfather watching me play this magical game called Fix the DVD Player, where I'm literally unscrewing it, tearing it apart, trying to get it to read the disc. The spindle wouldn't spin on the inside of it, so it kind of prevented the whole disc reading, movie playing from happening. So I had to, I'm going to quote Doctor Who here, I had to reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. Technically, what I had to do is I had to go in and manually move the spindle because something just got stuck on it and it was preventing it from spinning. But it's kind of interesting. I put it back together and forgetting, first off, that I had to use the emergency open hatch for the tray, which if anybody knows anything about electronics that have a disc tray, there's always an emergency open, an emergency eject button. You like stick a pin in and it forcibly, moves the tray out so you can pull the tray forward so you can pull whatever disc is in out, like let's say your computer's shut down or it locked up, you can't get it to come back on, and you really need like the disc out. Like let's say you were working on a project, you saved everything happily to the disc, and it's pretty much, shot, or your desktop or your laptop shot, there's an emergency button on the side, usually like a small little pinhole, and that's what you use to open it up. I stupidly forgot about this when I was putting the DVD player back together, and ended up having a DVD player that did not want to open and close its tray correctly. Yeah! And this was all just on Christmas Day. Happily, I did get it working, so we were able to watch Deck the Hall, so that was a good thing. I had some family stop by, say hi. So, all in all, it was a good day. It was a really, really good day. I had a couple days off from work, which I was really appreciative of, until Thursday morning. -3 degrees. Not joking. With the wind chill, it was -3 degrees. Guess who had to go to work in -3 degrees and standing outside waiting for his supervisor to show up? And the supervisor decided to be an hour late. That wasn't fun. It took me pretty much a good day and a half to warm back up, and then she was 15 minutes late this morning, because I had to work this morning, and lo and behold, she was 15 minutes late. Yeah. It's always fun, isn't it? But anyway, that was my week. I got some interesting stuff to talk about, but without any further ado, let's jump into the podcast and get our feet wet, shall we? Alright, so, good old Case Closed. I love Case Closed. This is one of the few series that Funimation did right. They just didn't realize they did it right. So let me give you a little background on this before I go into this any further. It's a mystery show. It's not... I'm going to say this for any of my fans that wonder if an anime is kid-friendly. This is geared towards teens. Flat out, not going to lie, geared towards teens. You have murder. You have murder. There is some excitement, but there is murder. There is death in this. There's killing. So, yeah, this is geared towards teens. I mean, we're not talking like blood and gore stuff here, like massively, but you figure it's murder. It's not exactly, we're just gonna, beat their head off screen, and they're just gonna come back, completely fine 5 seconds later. No. So, the whole premise of the show is that Jimmy Kudo is an ace high school detective who gets a little too big for his britches and jumps headfirst into a problem and gets screwed for it. Basically what happens is he gets fed an experimental poison that reverts him back to a kid instead of killing him. Since the organization that did this doesn't exactly know that it killed him, they assume he died, so he has to assume an alternate identity. The identity that he quickly made up on the fly by looking at 2 books on his father's bookshelf and called himself Conan Edogawa. I know. But the series is good. The dub lasted for 5 seasons before Funimation unceremoniously killed it. But yet it continues subbed over in Japan. Now, why am I talking about an anime series when I want to talk about a movie that the anime series is in? Well, good news. The newest Case Closed movie, The Darkest Nightmare, is going to be getting a 4D screening. This is good. I don't know what 4D is, but it sounds interesting. The film came out back in 2016. It's going to screen before the 2018 film opens, so... the 2016 film to screen before 2018 film opens. The official website for the anime's film based on Gosho Oyama's Detective Conan, or Case Closed manga, announced that the 20th film, Detective Conan The Darkest Nightmare, will get 4D screenings for a limited time, starting on February 10th of next year, 2018. This will be the first Detective Conan film to get 4D screenings. Okay, the film opened in Japan in April 16, 2016, and was the 6th highest grossing film in Japan that year. The franchise's 22nd film, Detective Conan Zero's Executioner, is a sequel to Detective Conan's The Darkest Nightmare, and is slated to open April 13th of 2018. So, first off, I'm enjoying the fact that it's still going on over in Japan. The sad part is I can't even begin to try to keep up with it because it's up to like 600-700 episodes. That's almost like if you ever have friends that know about One Piece and that watched One Piece for the longest time and then go, oh yeah, I watched that, then I fell out of it, and I don't know, did it end? No, it's still going. They're like over 800 episodes. When did you stop watching? Episode 40? Yeah, I'm not about to try to dig into 700 some episodes. Forget that. That's what you call an entire month of binge watching. Yeah, I'm just going to take a month off for work and, sit at home. I got plenty of, bills are paid. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just going to sit here at home and watch anime for an entire month. 1 month later. Oh, I'm gonna be king of the pirates! Yeah, hold on, something's up with me, yeah! That's something that would happen if you'd have to binge watch this show. But, as far as Detective Conan goes, it's a really good series. I was really upset that Funimation ended it, and the worst part is, with Funimation, they ended it at one of the stupidest parts they could have ended it at. They ended it literally halfway through the actual 5th season. Now, in all honesty, the show itself, yeah, okay, I'll admit, did reach its limit. It did reach its course. But still, the fact that you ended it midway through the 5th season, you introduced a character in the dub that we never got in the series when it was dubbed, in the dubbed movies, in the form of Vi, because she was in, I really got to think here for a minute. She was in The Phantom of Baker Street, and that was the 6th movie. She was in, I think the 4th and the 5th one, too, as well. So that's at least 3 movies worth that she's in. Not to mention all future installments unless they killed her off. So you figure there's a tremendous amount of stuff that you could have in this, but you decided, well, it's not worth it anymore. It's not selling. We don't want to deal with it anymore. Here's the thing, though. I had a hell of a time getting the last part that I needed to complete my collection. And my friend had to help me with this. So I got Volume 1, 2, 3, and 5. Standard Edition. And my friend actually had to help me track down Volume 4, which sadly was the Viridian collection. But at this point, beggars can't be choosers. I wanted the whole damn thing. So it's kind of cool that I finally got it. I watched it so I can safely say, hey, I own all of Case Closed. It's one of my favorites. And it really is. But the fact that Funimation dropped the ball on this here in the U.S. is saddening to me. I mean, there's so much more that could have been done with this. But how do we end a great series in the dub? Oh, I know. We end it with an episode called The Disappearing Weather Girl. Yeah! That'll work! Where the simple puzzle is just a complex little thing of pictures on a pager. It was a pager. That was it. That's literally it. An epic series like this that has murder, mystery, excitement, laughs. How do we end it? With the stupidest episode you can imagine. But the fact that it's still going on in Japan is really good. So first off, kudos to the Japanese. You know what you like. I wish Funimation would have known this. I would have liked to have seen the 6th season. I would have liked to have seen the rest of the series dubbed. Couldn't have cost that much money, Funimation. But anyway, so the newest movie's getting the screen. The one movie's getting the screen, Darkest Nightmare, and it's ironic that it's getting this before the sequel film opens. So that explains the line that I was confused about. The 2016 film to screen before the 2018 film opens. Now it makes sense. Because The Darkest Nightmare did come out in 2016, and the newest one, Zero's Executioner, is the sequel to this, and it's slated to come out April 13th of this year, of 2018. So, you kind of see how it'll work here. But still, it's interesting to see how this pans out. First off, like I said, I'm glad Case Closed is still going on. And on top of that, I hope it keeps going. What I'd really like is for Funimation to, I don't know, redub the series or, finish the series. Better yet, give us more of the movies. That would be nice. Yeah, we're not going to get it, though. Probably not. But anyway, kudos to the Japanese. Like I said, you know what you want. You're listening to the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. The only podcast where I can talk for an entire hour and nobody ever tells me to shut up. You people are out there, right? Alright, so anybody that's ever gone to one of those arcades, and I mean like one that takes quarters or tokens, one that you know you're getting screwed on, you've obviously come across one of these crane games. Now, you can probably find them outside your local Walmarts or outside of small family diners. They're those big-ass games that you have this metal claw that basically uses a hydraulic pump to grab onto the unsuspecting item in the big pit of stuff that you have your eye on. You try to grab onto it to lift it up and win the prize. I'll admit, I fell for this myself a majority of times. Fact to be, I only ever won on this thing on one of these twice. It was the same machine, same day, because the machine is fixed up that the game does not end until you win. Now, granted, most of the stuff inside was stupid and idiotic, but it's the thought that counts. I think I got like a Simpsons hacky sack, which I still own. I still have it, believe it or not. I still have that Simpsons hacky sack. I don't even do hacky sack, and I have it. And I think it was like a Simpsons phone card. You can jot down phone numbers on the back, and it had the Simpsons on the other side. That was what I won, and literally both of them cost me $0.25 a piece. So it's like 25 cents, which is pretty cool. But over in Osaka. This is fun. So these arcade machines, you deploy the claw, fetch the tempting toy, and almost inevitably come up short. And if you ever saw the Discovery Channel, I'm pretty sure it was Discovery or History, they did a show where a guy literally just tears apart stuff. He tore apart the inside of a Magic 8-ball, tore apart a claw machine, he tore apart a video game console. That one pissed off so many video game collectors, by the way. But basically what ended up happening was he would go around and he'd show you how everything worked on the inside. Like the Magic 8-ball is literally just like a multicolored die suspended in a fluid that one end will literally just pop up. So everything really is random regardless of how you ask the question. And that's why it's always answers in yes or no questions, because it's literally random. It depends on which side gets the most buoyancy as it's coming up from being shook. When it came to the claw machine, this is what he found that was interesting. Because I remember this episode, it burned into my mind because I'd always seen these claw machines. I always wondered how the damn things worked. And then I found out. So, the hydraulic pump that's inside of it. And that's what it is. It's basically like an air pump. It doesn't give like hydraulic fluid, but it's like an air pump. It's like a small little compressor that is supposed to close the claw. But the problem is, it doesn't have enough closing power to grab on to the good stuff. So, you want that $30 stuffed animal, right? Nope, you might as well just settle for that $1 little tiny figurine over there, because that claw has just enough power to literally grab that and hold on to it tightly. That is it. Not to mention lining one of those things up is a real pain in the neck. But anyway, so you ended up coming up short on these. Well, guess what? You never really had a chance if you're playing one of the few arcades in Osaka. Seriously. A company that maintains crane games in Osaka has been busted for rigging the machines to make it impossible to win. Oh, so it's like the casinos that purposely rigged the slot machines. Okay. Nobody's busted them yet. Tokyo Reporter has reported, though it's often been suspected, that crane games are not entirely fair. No duh. This raid was reportedly the first of its kind in Japan. Hopefully not the last either. So, what ended up happening was this. The crane game in question wasn't exactly cheap. It costs up to 10,000 yen per play, which is almost $100. First off, that's highway robbery. Literally highway robbery. You had the promise of winning some seriously high-end merchandise, such as hoverboards, video games, and more. Players were convinced the games could be won by the staff, who demonstrated a successful clawing before stealthily changing the settings. Yeah, what they probably did was they, fixed it up. It's like, okay, now let me put the prize back in, and as they're putting the prize back in, their right hand's putting the prize back in, and that's where your attention's focused. They're putting the prize back in, and they're slowly turning down the dial to make it that you need to have. It's not going to give enough pressure to grab onto the item. It's sort of like that 3-card Monty. That's what it is. It's sort of like 3-card Monty, where it's all sleight of hand. And that's what it is. Where you're, purposely moving your hands quickly enough to make it so that they don't see where you're moving the card. In this case, it's keep your eye focused on the shiny toy you can win as I turn down the dial on the air compressor, preventing you from getting it. So, the president of the game company denies the charges, which I find idiotic because it's a claw machine. If you're, in all honesty, if the staff is literally going about saying you can win on this and then screwing over the customers by preventing them from even getting close, you are cheating the customers. Therefore, you are cheating them. So the next time you're in Japan and feel a clawing urge to play some crane games, they recommend sticking with a reputable chain of arcades, or at the very least, don't pay 10,000 yen for a single play. For crying out loud, 10,000 yen! That's highway robbery. Yeah, I'm just going to pop $100 in this machine to try to win. Oh, let's pick something at random. I want to win that Pikachu figure. I think that is the cutest thing in the world. Here's $100. I want to win this figure. And $100 is going to give me one try. And, Pikachu fell off the crane. He fell out of the claw. But that's what it is, though, with this stuff. You can't just... You're never going to win the big prizes. There was a game that I played at my local mall for the longest time. I would actually get, loose bills, go in there and just have a blast with it. I never aimed for the big prize. I was not idiotic enough to try. I tried once, and I realized, you know what? Screw it. It isn't worth it. So I stuck to the small prizes that you could win on the side. Which, hey, that's fine. That's what I wanted. I got a laser pointer. I got some type of little squishy ball that had a light up. It had a seizure-inducing light on the inside of it. And a few other things. It was called Stack'em. And what it basically was is you have this light grid. You have this grid on the main back of the board. And you have this little row of lights that keep going up. Your goal is to stack them higher and higher and higher to reach each line. You can win the minor prize line, which is what I aimed for majority of the time. And it's easy to get the minor prize because the minor prize doesn't cost anything. They're literally stuff that they bought at a dollar store or got at a wholesale place. But it's the bigger prizes that'll draw people in. There was a thing in there for an Xbox, a thing in there for a laptop, a Wii U. Those are the prizes that people will try to go for, but the thing is, there's two things with those. They'll either pay out after a certain amount of money that was put in to make it worth the, oh look, I can actually get this, provided you can get up to the top of it, or it'll just cheat you out of it by purposely skipping over the block that it's supposed to go on, so you will purposely lose because, oh crap, it's close to the top, but I haven't reached that magic number yet to pay out. So, with the cranes, though, and the claw machines, like I said, how they do that is simple. It's just all hydraulic and all air pressure. If there's not enough pressure to close the claw, it will not work. It's that simple. And I just find it amazing that the staff is convincing these poor, unsuspecting players, you could win this stuff, but the president of the game company is denying the charges. Oh, no, we're not purposely screwing customers. No. They lost fair and square. My games aren't crooked. And just like that's when you should see, I mean, the perfect analogy of that would be as the president of the company saying that our games are not crooked or something like that. You literally just see a machine falling apart, and there you see like a little mouse turning a wheel. That would be ironic at that point. At least hilariously funny. So anyway, next time you find yourself in Japan, don't go for the claw machines. Do yourself a favor. Just go for the little gumball machines that give you that little plastic container that has like a little tiny figurine in it. Just go for those. They only cost like maybe a coin, and they're worth it. I mean, those little things are cute, and you never know. I mean, you can get a whole bunch of good stuff out of those things. The Absolutely Completely Random Podcast is taking a very short break. I need to stretch and do a couple other things. I'll be right back. If you're looking for collectibles, oddities, things you just don't ever see anywhere else, or that you want to have for conversation starters, check out A-Roads 2012 on eBay. I've got a tremendous amount of stuff. And, well, I'm A-Roads 2012. I'm also Andrew Rhodes, the host of the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast, Andrew Rants and Andrew's Theories, here on YouTube. So make sure you check out A-Roads 2012 on eBay for all your trading card needs. And other oddities, too. You never know. I might have something that might just interest you. Well, look around you and look beyond. Just who could make an unbreakable bond? The world around you is not what it seems, and so will be revealed beyond your wildest dreams. I didn't sing it so I can avoid a copyright infringement, but that's how the opening line for Shaman King goes. And for those of you that have ever heard of Shaman King, good news! A new announcement has been teased for New Year. So could this be a new manga? A new game? A movie? A sequel or continuation to the anime? I could only hope so, taking that the anime didn't actually freaking end. No, it really didn't. The anime ends with them defeating Zeke, the Shaman tournament stopping until the Great Spirit arrives again. And the end of the episode, the Great Spirit's back, and the tournament starts up again. Now, that's supposed to be, hey, we've come full circle. We ain't even close to the halfway point of full circle in this one. You took a freaking detour and made a D. It's like, you started drawing half of a circle, then realized, I'm supposed to be making a letter, so you just shot the line straight up and connected the 2 points and made a D. So, I know. So, all signs are pointing to probably that it could be a new manga series or a related project, hopefully in the works. Especially considering the fact that Koda Natha, and I know I've mispronounced that, but I couldn't pronounce it to save my life anyway, has been advertising a big announcement for January 1st of 2018. While they're doing their best to be coy about it, it's not exactly the most suitable campaign. All the campaign literally is one giant picture on the website. It's like outline of Asakura and red along the back of him. That's it. That's really it. I mean, if you want to be cryptic, that's a great way to be cryptic. I don't know what. Okay, he's like, hey, Shaman King, remember this? It was popular for a time. That's our announcement. Bye. That could be the whole thing. I mean, there's really nothing about this. And that's the sad part, is that there really is nothing about this, and it's sad. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not exactly a bad thing, but it's just the fact that there's so much you're wondering. I mean, could this be a new manga adaptation? I mean, are we going to get Shaman King Super, like Dragon Ball Super got? Is it going to be a new anime series like Dragon Ball Super? Or, I swear to God, I swear, if they make this into like a Dragon Ball Z Kai thing where they cut out 90% of the crap, fans will be pissed at that. Is it going to be a reboot like Sailor Moon Crystal? Ugh, please no. Please no to that. Please no to that. Or are we just going to get a new manga? Is it going to be a new video game? I wouldn't mind a new video game. Could it be for the tablets too? I mean, tablets don't get enough love, okay? I got a tablet. That's the fun part. I'm like, oh, cool, I can play some really decent games on this. Not to mention, use it to like check the internet and stuff like that when I don't want to dig my laptop out or go on my desktop. It's like, oh yeah, I can just yank out this tablet. It's like, and in the meantime, I can use it as a gaming device. So far, the most fun games I have on there are the ones that I have on there. I'd like some decent games, some decent fighting games. I'd like some decent RPGs. Something to occupy my time. I have so much of it, apparently. But anyway, we won't know what the announcement is until January 1st. And now, this is my question. Now, is it going to be January 1st for everybody or January 1st Japanese time? Because if it's going to be January 1st JST, that's pretty much going to be sometime tomorrow. And keep in mind, I'm recording this on a Saturday, so tomorrow would be Sunday, which would be the 31st for those of us that live on the other side of the international date line. If you don't know what that is a line that goes across the Earth from the North Pole to the South Pole and crosses the Earth twice, both over the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Believe me, I remember having an argument with my grandmother over this. She was persistent and only crossed over the Pacific Ocean. Or no, she was persistent only crossed over one of the oceans and not both. I said, no, it crosses over both. It goes in the circle of the Earth. You know, the round Earth. Yeah, not flat, round. No, I'm not going to live that down. So we just have to wait, be patient, and see what's going to happen. But I'm hoping it's a new anime series. I mean, or at least a continuation. It never ended. Seriously! You never ended the series! So many questions need to be answered here! So many questions! But it hurts my mind to think about it sometimes. It really does. So, the 31st is fast upon us. And those of you that have been following my podcast for a while know what that means. It's time for Digimon Heroes to sadly take that one final step into the sunset. Yep. So, here's what's actually happened so far. This is kind of interesting. So, the 31st in the game happens at about 7 p.m. the night before. So, as of the recording of this podcast, we are currently in day 31 for December game clock time. And what's sad and ironic about this is that the game's still going, but a majority of stuff has been removed. The PvP arena is done. It didn't even load up this weekend, which is sad. For starters, they could have at least done one final PvP, arena. The Infinity Tower isn't going to come up anymore because that was like Monday through Thursday. And the only thing you can play anymore besides the daily quest in the middle of the island is Egomon's quest because it's the only thing that's left. That's it. The event quests that were scattered on the other 3 islands that were on this main map under the events tab are gone. They have literally sunk into File Island, sunk into the digital sea. They're gone. And it's just sad about this because what I found ironic is that they were giving out all this free stuff throughout December. Here's a bunch of purple experience discs. Here's a bunch of X antibodies. Here's a bunch of burst capacitors. Here's a bunch of hard drives to increase the size of the amount of Digimon you could hold. And what do we get from that? The game's ending soon. All this is worthless. You've wasted your time. And apparently on their forum, as I checked the forum page out quick tonight, there are actually people that were counting down thinking, okay, the 31st is going to end. Yeah, I'm thinking the 31st is going to end. As in the 31st is the last and final day it will be active. And that's it. And that's unfortunately in game time right now. And it upsets me for many reasons. The first of which being the fact that this is a game that was actually entertaining. And I stressed that so many times in this podcast. When I talked about this, it isn't funny. This is a game that was extremely entertaining. It was fun. It had a unique factor to it. Sure, we didn't have like any little 3D models of the characters that we were playing with, but it was fun. It was a small version of a game to play. It was interesting. It was something that was good enough to waste some time, build up some characters and stuff like that. And when it was announced near the end of October that it was ending at the end of the year, fans were in an uproar. Rightly so. I mean, I was even agreeing with them. Fans were right to be in an uproar. I remember their Facebook page was trying to sugarcoat this by going, well, we're going to make it so that you're going to have a lot more fun. You know, we're giving you this and this and this and this and this, so you're going to get a lot of fun stuff here. The problem was, and I called them out on this, is that all they were doing was delaying the inevitable. If they wanted to end the game, what they should have just done was just yank it off and be done with it. Because now fans are wondering, well, what exactly are they going to do with the game? Well, the game's done. The servers are going to shut down, and that's going to be the end of all your data, all your Digimon friends or history. And that's the worst part about this. Then you have the people that are like, well, why are we, what's going to happen to all of our in-game friends? Like I said, when this was first announced, start swapping emails now because you're done. Once that game server is taken offline, bye-bye, buddies. Your best bet at this point, honestly, is to just swap contact info, swap email addresses, and get it over with. Send, email each other. Build a blog. Somebody out there should just build a blog dedicated to this and have everybody will just come there and just hang out on there again. Blogs aren't that difficult to create. They're very relatively easy. Hell, you can make one for like in 5-10 minutes. That's all it takes. So it's not exactly difficult. But I can understand how fans are pissed and upset about this. I agree with them. I mean, I'm not exactly too happy with this either. I actually put time and effort into this game. I went through the nightmare of getting the one Digimon. It was a pain in the neck to get, and I got it. And I'm pissed that they're just yanking the rug out from under all of us. I agree with them. It was a slap in the face, and it was an unwelcome one at that. But their reasoning behind it was that they wanted to that the team was moving on to different projects. They're doing this and that. And I think to myself, that's fine. That's fine and dandy. All you want to say, sugarcoat it to your heart's content. Let's face it. They're basically trying to say that you little players aren't spending enough money. We're not making enough from the ad revenue to keep this thing afloat. And that's what in all honesty, that's what I think it boils down to. They can say how many times till they're blue in the face that, this is hurting us more than it's hurting the fans. No, it's not. It's hurting the fans more. Because you don't care enough to try to find a way to make the game stay. Make it a permanently offline game. Or something like that, which was brought up in the comments section of the Facebook page multiple times. Why not just make it a standalone, offline-only game? Well, if we do that, so much of the content's going to be lost and it'll take so much time to do it. Translation? If we do that, we can't make money on microtransactions, and Bandai Namco desperately needs that money to bankroll future failures. There you go. So, like I said, it's sad, but it's the last and final day for Digimon Heroes. Hopefully, and I do mean this, hopefully this will be the last and final app that I enjoy that goes to the wayside. Here's the list of apps that I currently have on my tablet. If any of them decide to die off, I will literally be raising Cain here. I play Contest of Champions. I play Digimon Links. I mostly got that because I wanted to see how cool it was, and it's interesting. I haven't really touched it much since I was working night shift a lot. I play Puzzles and Dragons. And I play Naruto Cross Boruto Ninja Voltage until they end up raising up the amount of data on that thing to the point where I gotta delete it. It's like a 3 gigabyte game. And they keep updating it. Here's an idea. Update it, compress some of the stuff, and make it beeping smaller. Contest of Champions does that. Digimon Heroes did it. Why can't you? It's not that gigantic of a game. But there's that. Those are the 3 that I play. I watch the I read the Webtoons app. And I use the Weather Channel. So if any of those decide to die off, I'm going to raise some Royal Cain on this one. Because I really like those apps. I like Digimon Heroes, but unfortunately, we the fans have no say in anything. We could petition Bandai Namco to keep the game going. They'll look at us and laugh in our face and go, this is a corporate decision, you have no say in it. You could beg and plead. They'll laugh and turn around and walk away from you. And that's the problem that we have, is that that's what happened in this case. Fans were demanding, they're probably thinking, well, there's no fan base for this anymore. You announce you're closing. There are 17, at least, videos that I found on YouTube that hit 1,000 views in a day. I guess it would have had to have hit 50 times that in order to make them realize, oh, look, there's a fan base for this. Huh. Oh, well. So, like I said, it is sad that all this has to happen, but at the same time, I do understand why it's happening. I'm not happy about it, but there's nothing we can do. So may it go on to bigger and better things, and hopefully we'll get a decent Digimon game for tablets. Though I wouldn't mind a decent Dragon Ball Z game for tablets. Seriously, it can't be that difficult. And now for a special section I like to call Weird Things My Mom Says. Hi, Mom! You're getting talked about on the podcast! So earlier this week, my mom and I were talking, and she was telling me about Meatloaf on Facebook. And for those of you who don't know who Meatloaf is, besides it being a very delicious ground beef meal, it's also the name of a singer that does like a lot of love ballads and stuff like that. Very good singer, I might add. He's got a Facebook page. My mom and I both follow it because my mom had the CD, I listened to it, I liked the music, and yeah, there you go. So anyway, he had a thing up on Facebook saying that he was giving up Facebook because something about they wanted to charge him money, he doesn't have enough likes, which, when my mom's telling me this, she's just looking at me and I'm going, she goes, yeah, it was shooting off red flags in my head too. So she was, commenting about it, and they were getting into like a discussion, her and like a couple other fans, which is cool. mean, my mom's kind of a shy person, so it's kind of nice that she, at least goes out and, tries to mingle with people. I mean, in all honesty, she yelled at me so many times when I was growing up, don't talk to strangers, and I would turn around and talk to a person that's standing at the freaking bread aisle as my mom's squeezing a loaf of bread. Saying hi, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hi. Nowadays, you wouldn't want to do that nowadays. But no, back when I was growing up, yeah, you could do that. I was like the tail end of the peaceful era. Everything was peaceful until the Fire Nation attacked. But that's an Avatar reference. Or The Last Airbender, by the way. But anyway, so to get back to the story, my mom goes, and this is the best part. She's like, well, he does a show on Sci-Fi called Ghost. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it went. She goes, but I can't watch the show, and I don't know if Sci-Fi is online. At this point, I'm standing in the living room, and I'm just looking at her, and my mind officially just like shut off. The gears are snapping in my head so quickly it isn't funny. I'm like, there's like a little me running around, papers flying everywhere, gears are cracking, sparks are flying, and I'm like, you're joking, right? Why wouldn't Sci-Fi be on the internet? Science fiction. Come on. You're kidding me. Why wouldn't it be online? Hundreds upon thousands of nerds come to this site to look up. Why would it not be here? But that was the point. That was the part that I got a kick out of. Is that she's like, well, I didn't know if Sci-Fi was online or not. And I'm like, and this is the funny part is she's telling me this story. It's like, oh, I'm really getting good with Facebook, and that's the part that I'm getting a kick out of. She's like, well, I'm really kind of getting good with Facebook, where she can figure out conversations, she can start conversations, she can have conversations on Facebook, she's talking with other people, she can like pages and stuff like that. And then she just completely takes all the good things that I'm so happy that my mom can use the computer, and it officially just kills it all by saying, but I don't know if Sci-Fi's online. Yeah, that was my fun, yeah. But anyway, so that was your fun, weird things my mom says. I should make this a segment, I guess. I don't know. Probably not. She doesn't say enough weird things to make this a weekly segment. Plus, I usually have other topics and other things to talk about. But it's still kind of funny every now and then. The Absolutely Completely Random podcast is brought to you by electricity. Because without it, I wouldn't be able to record anything on my laptop because my battery requires it in order to run and it needs electricity to recharge. Yeah, I know. But I can't get a water wheel in my room. So, anybody that's been following the Doctor Who world of news, yep, this is going to be like, I think, maybe my last topic for the night. Possibly, I'm not sure. But anyway, anybody that's been following Doctor Who knows that the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, is regenerating into Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor. Now, this was announced earlier in the year. I talked about it, I think, on the podcast. Fans were in an uproar. And this is the point that pissed me off. You have fans that wanted a female Doctor for the longest time. They wanted, equality in Doctor Who. They finally get it. And they're told, hey, here's the 13th Doctor. And immediately when she's shown in a trailer or a little thing for like a preview or a teaser, the internet lights up on fire with, this is the biggest mistake Doctor Who's ever made. The BBC should be ashamed. And that's exactly what happened. These people that were so happy about it quickly became pissed off that it happened. And it just started bringing me back to the whole Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell, where Hollywood was being accused of whitewashing just because they had her playing Major Katsuragi. Who freaking cares? In all honesty, I don't like Ghost in the Shell, but in all honesty, I was ready to just take a screenshot of the trailer with her in it, take a picture of it on a computer screen, next to it having a box of tissues saying the phrase, "Interpret this as you will." And that was my plan. Until somebody on the internet shut half the nerds up. And I thanked whoever that person was. But as far as the Doctor Who thing, the fans were a little bit skeptical. Well, the regeneration happened on Christmas Day with Twice Upon a Time, the Christmas special, which was Peter Capaldi's final appearance as the 12th Doctor. The regeneration of Peter Capaldi, though, and this is major spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen it, was sort of on the weird side. Telling the TARDIS, don't eat pears, this and that, giving it some helpful advice, and then saying one more lifetime isn't gonna hurt anyone, and then finally ending it with, "Doctor, I let you go." Which people were going, was the third and final line in the continuation from when David Tennant started talking, saying, "I don't want to go," to Matt Smith's speech when he regenerated, and Peter Capaldi finishing it off with, "Doctor, I let you go." And just to cut huge chunks of this out of the way, Doctor regenerates, in comes Jodie Whittaker. First words out of her mouth, brilliant. Literally, that's what she said. Pushes a button, TARDIS starts going bat crap crazy, okay? And I mean full on bat crap crazy. The console's on fire. It flings her out of the TARDIS. She's falling back to the earth, and you literally see fire inside the TARDIS. Like the whole inside of the TARDIS is exploding. And that's the end. Until Doctor Who comes around again and starts up the new season. So there you go. But it was interesting to see the regeneration, because this is what people were interested in, and usually is one of the main things that they're interested in, is seeing the regeneration for how they're going to introduce the next Doctor. For when Christopher Eccleston took over the reins back in 2005 and revived the show, his regeneration into David Tennant wasn't exactly the world's greatest, but then again, remember, the show was still finding new ground again. It was kind of interesting because he just had him regenerate and goes, "Where was I? Oh, yeah, new teeth. Where was I? Oh, yeah, Barcelona." And then you have Matt Smith's, David Tennant going into Matt Smith. He goes, basically fixes up, what he considers to be massive problems with the time-space continuum by fixing it that some of his friends deserve good things. He saves Martha Jones and Mickey, gives Donna's grandfather and her mother a winning lottery ticket to give her as a wedding present, so that she won't be strapped for cash, and her and her future or soon-to-be husband can live happily for the rest of their lives. Visits Rose Tyler before she met the Doctor, which was, I kind of think, and I kind of want to say, messing with the time-space continuum just a little bit. And a few other things. Save Sarah Jane's son. And a couple other things. Then he goes off, is serenaded by the Ood as he begins the regeneration, and he utters those final immortal words, "I don't want to go." Then regenerates into Matt Smith, who, in my personal opinion, was not the greatest Doctor. I'm going to say it, okay? The man sucked. And this was the one that people want to have come back. No. No. Did I mention no? So they wanted him to come back. And it's like, no. So his final regeneration when he regenerated into Peter Capaldi, his was like a speech, which was really long-winded, unwelcomed, idiotic. I hated it. When he finally regenerated, Peter Capaldi took over the reins and was brilliant in that first scene, where he's going, probably crashing. Just one question. How do you fly this thing? That was interesting. And then you have Peter Capaldi's regeneration into Jodie Whittaker. So now it's pretty much up to the new thing. We're resetting Doctor Who for the next series. And it's like, okay, so they're starting off with a really good cliffhanger. I'll give them that. I mean, the Doctor gets thrown out of the TARDIS. The TARDIS is sort of exploding on the inside. And that's, where we're left. The Doctor's literally falling to Earth. We don't know what's going to happen. She could die, and the whole regeneration process begins again. I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's just what made it really cool and interesting, was the fact that this happened, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of a long-winded speech, sort of idiotic and stupid. Then the regeneration happens, and I'm like, okay, she may not be too bad in this. And that's what a lot of fans started saying, that it's like, because I was reading the comments under that video, and it's like, I was on the fence about her taking over the reins. I think she'll be great for Doctor Who. And I'm thinking to myself, weren't you one of the main people that were probably complaining? Yeah, complete 360 there, huh? Or complete 180? Yeah. But either way, it's a good thing. It was interesting to see it happen. It happened on Christmas Day, so that was like a Christmas present to everybody. But we get to look forward to the new incarnation of the Doctor, the 13th regeneration. And keep in mind, BBC, if you're ever looking for a possible 15th Doctor, I am available. I think I could play the Doctor pretty well. I could be number 15. I'll even take number 16. Come on. Let an American try again. Seriously, let an American try. I could do really well. Please? Maybe? Alrighty, folks. Well, that's going to do it for the final podcast of 2017. Well, I had a blast. My Dr. Pepper's just about halfway empty, so it means I'm going to have some fun yet for about another hour, give or take. But I'd like to thank all of you for making 2017 a wonderful adventure for me. I started off 2017 pretty weird and screwy, but 2018 is going to be great. I know it is. So until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes. If you have any topic ideas for the podcast, feel free to send them to me. Oh, I never did explain that, did I? The reason why this week's podcast seemed a little different, in case you're wondering, I know it's the end of the podcast. Great time to explain it, right? I had topics. I had them like I usually do. I have them in a notepad document, queued up for each section. And how I'm going to do it, I go to open the file. It's missing. It's completely blank. Apparently, I never hit the save button. Go figure, right? So, if you're wondering why this week's kind of seemed like it was very random, well, I don't say random for nothing. But anyway, there you go. I'm sorry it took me so long to explain that. I completely forgot about it. But if you have any topic ideas for the podcast, feel free to email them to me at acrpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can send me a tweet on Twitter at OtakuRhodes. Or you can even just drop a hint in the suggestion and discussion section here on my YouTube channel, WebDesigner18. You never know. Some good stuff usually comes from my fans. Because, as PBS always says, this wouldn't be possible without viewers like you. Thank you. But until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes. This has been the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. 2017 is going to be coming to a close. And I am out of here. Later.